So anyway, Paul, why don't you, and Shannon, why don't you come on up, and I'll let those folks introduce themselves some more.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Steve. It is amazing what you can learn about your spouse when you are 40 feet up in the air clinging to a tree for dear life. There was one couple. He was, I would guess, a contractor, construction worker, my height, about another 40 pounds on me, all muscle. I mean, this guy was a man's man kind of guy. And his wife, they'd been married probably 6-7 years, something like that. And in this one, his wife goes first. And so his wife steps onto this really wobbly thing, and she seems to be fairly athletic, maybe gymnast kind of thing, and she kind of walks across this thing, no problem, and comes over to my platform, and then turns and waits for her husband. And this man, who's been strong, capable, competent, freezes. He doesn't just freeze. He sits there, and then his body starts to do a little bit of this. His knees start to get going a little bit. And then you see the tear start to come down his cheek. He's locked up. He doesn't know what to do. And his wife is just sitting there going, I don't know what to do now. Who is this guy? And I leaned over to her and I said, have you ever seen this side of your husband before? And she goes, I have never seen this side of him. He's always been strong. He's always been capable. He's always been competent. What would you like to do? Do you think you could go back and help him? And so she steps back onto the wobbly walk, and she makes her way across the thing and reaches out her hands and helps him gently step down onto this beam that's now both of them are going like this. And she goes backward as she leads him across the thing. And they get back to the platform where I'm at, and they collapse into each other's arms, sobbing and crying, and never had an experience like that before. Our hope this weekend is that the same kind of experience can happen for you, that you can learn something new about your spouse. It's our job to actually make you guys a little bit uncomfortable today, but we want to actually do that so that you can feel safe. Do you know what it would take for you to feel safe with this group of people? Shannon and I get to come in and we just get to spend 3 days with you, but you guys get to go home and spend years together, interacting with each other, spending time with each other, and learning not just about yourselves or your spouse, but about each other as well here. So what would you need for this weekend if you know you might be just a little uncomfortable? Can I offer one? It's actually what my wife asked before we started speaking tonight, right outside that door. She says, don't throw me under the bus. It's not nice to throw your spouse under the bus. So before you share stories again about your relationship or about your spouse, do a quick little check-in. You know, it's that little eye contact thing of, can I go there? And when you get that look back, which says, if you go there, you're walking home, don't go there. Makes sense? Guard your spouse's heart. Yes, so this is kind of preventative maintenance, kind of the Jiffy Lube of marriage, going in, 3,000-mile oil change, make sure everything's going good. Time well spent. Time well spent. Here's what we hope you get to walk away with, because we have some very specific things where we want to take you this weekend. And they're very strategic and very intentional, and they're connected to everything we're going to be talking about primarily tomorrow. Number one, we want you to learn how to be less defensive with your spouse. Very common, I see in my office, people come in and they're going, yes, I want help. And this person over here needs to be fixed.
And that was the one that I needed to work on the most. Well, I needed to work on a lot of them in our marriage when we first started, but even that one still gets to me sometimes. I still get defensive when Paul's trying to explain something or tell me something. So that's a really important one that we want you guys to walk with.
We might just spend the whole weekend on that one, and we'll get to the other 5, next year when we come back or something like that. No. When we were dating, I don't think we had crossed the I love you barrier yet. We hadn't said that to each other. And we courted in San Diego. I grew up in San Diego, and she was going to school in San Diego where we met. And so we were walking along the beach, hand in hand, romantic. enjoying each other's company, and I found a stick, and I picked up the stick, and I drew a big heart in the sand.
And my heart started pounding.
And I wrote, I
And it pounded a little more.
love.
And then I was really going, oh boy.
This is a true story, by the way. Remember that whole no one teaches you how to do these things lesson we just covered? That should be in the book somewhere. Never write, I love pizza.
That was an experience where got my hopes up, and it was so hard not to have tears dripping down my face. And I had to just laugh and pretend like, oh, that was cute. We laugh about it now. It's probably one of my favorite stories. And anytime we go to the beach, we always write, I love pizza in the sand.
I did it on purpose to create a meaningful memory. Yep. We actually have a definition of a secure marriage. It's two imperfect people, right here, two imperfect people. Oh, this up here too, by the way. Through the power of the Holy Spirit, creating deep connection by helping each other become better human beings on a daily basis. That's the model of a secure marriage. Two imperfect people through the power of the Holy Spirit, through the power of the Holy Spirit. It is I'm not even going to say nearly, it is absolutely impossible for me under my own steam, under my own will, under my own flawed humanity to be that selfless towards my wife. Sin gets in the way, selfishness gets in the way. It's only through the power of the Holy Spirit can I do that and create a deep connection with her and help her become a better human being, and she does that to me. When you both have common language to talk about this now, it gets really, really good. Marriages get really, really good. After 24 years, we are still learning how to do this because our sinfulness, our humanity, our fear, our frailty still causes us to say, what about me? How do I get my needs met? And we gravitate towards the conventional model, and it's hard to stay in the unconventional model. And our goal is to keep striving for it. The phrase that we use, and it's actually where we got the name of the program we were working on, is I turned to her one day and says, we don't have a perfect marriage, but we have a secure marriage. And it's like, hey, that's a good name. We should do something with that. And so we tell that to each other all the time. It's nice that we don't have to have a perfect marriage, but we can have a secure marriage. We know that when you have the storms and when you have the struggles or the disappointments, you know that it's not a deal breaker or an ending, relationship ending event. Some of you have moved into second marriages or multiple marriages, and you're still learning how to do this. My hope is this weekend you can learn, again, a couple nuggets, a couple zingers, something to walk home with and have practical applications so that it actually becomes tangible and you can see real change that comes out of this if possible. Does that sound all right? Do you know what it would take for you to feel safe with this group of people? Sorry.